Hey, this is Chris at Rekkid Talk. So Beth at REDRUM Records reached 15,000 subscribers and is doing an I Love the 80s contest. And so the 1980s, I entered the 1980s, January 1st, 1980. I was 10 years old. December 31st, 1989, we were partying like it was 1999. I was 20 years old. So obviously, late elementary school, junior high, high school, some of my undergraduate college career, all covered in the 1980s. So I was buying vinyl, a little bit of vinyl at the beginning of the 80s, but the 80s were probably mostly a cassette time for me, although I will be showing some recently bought vinyl albums as part of the contest because one of the things is that as I've gotten more into vinyl, there's always like, do you rebuy something that you have on cassette or CD, or that you had back in the day, or do you buy something new? I tend to err towards buying something new, but not always. So I'm going to do the three albums first, and then I'll get into the three movies, and then my trivia question will segue from one of the movies I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about records. So, U2, The Unforgettable Fire. So this came out in 1984. I remember checking this album out from the library. You could check out records from the library. And this is one of my favorite U2 albums. And I know Rachel showed this in her video as well. At some point, I'll probably do a ranking the albums of U2, although I think there's still a couple things I need to pick up in order to actually be able to do it. Some of the later day stuff. There's U2, The Unforgettable Fire. Let's talk about some Dinosaur Jr. So this is a recent reissue on Newberry Comics on some goofy purplish vinyl. 1987, so this is the year I graduated from high school. You're Living All Over Me. These guys are really only a few years older than me. I've actually never seen Dinosaur live, but they had the reputation as being one of the loudest bands. You got Jay Mascis on vocals and guitar. I did a video a couple months ago where I reviewed their latest album, so they're still putting stuff out. Luke Barlow, the bass player, is known for his solo career and his other bands, Sebadoh, and his other band, Folk Implosion. So there's Dinosaur Jr. Just that that reckless but not never quite out of control guitar that Jay Mascis is known for. And then the last one I'm going to show, this is another 1987 album. This is The Replacements, Pleased to Meet Me. And so this is a band that I have done a ranking the albums of. That did go up fairly recently. So I did rank all of the Replacements albums. Almost all the Replacements albums came out in the 80s. Maybe at some point I'll get into the Paul Westerberg post Replacements career as well. All right, let's talk about some movies. Now, I'll preface this. I'm not nearly as much of a film person as a music person. I don't have nearly as many movies on physical format. I haven't bought any movies on physical format in years, and I'm not currently seeking them out. I am going to show you one DVD and two VHS tapes that I do have. They're all going to be skewed towards comedy, basically both on my taste as a teenager, my taste now, and so on. So let's start off 1980. We've got the classic Blues Brothers, of course, with John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd. Of course, you've got the Blues Brothers band. They're playing blues songs, soul songs. I think there were some famous, I think like James Brown and Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin were all part. I don't own the soundtrack, but they were part of that as well. And then a movie that I really attached to 80s music is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Awesome. Totally awesome. Jeff Spicoli. Aloha, Mr. Hand. Of course, you've got Damone scalping those Blue Oyster Cult tickets. Of course, I'm thinking of some of the songs that appeared in the movie. We've got The Beat by the Go-Go's. You've got American Girl by Tom Petty. She's Got to Be Somebody's Babe by Jackson Browne, which kind of unfortunately I kind of think of as the creepy older dude song. If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. But there's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And then the final movie I'm going to show, and this will segue into my trivia, is going to be, here's some Canadian content, Strange Brew. So we got Bob and Doug McKenzie, Hosa, take off your Hosa. So of course this is a silly, ridiculous movie. And so the trivia question is sort of based on this. So there was a song, Take Off, from the Great White North comedy album, which features Geddy Lee from Rush on vocals. The song Take Off reached number 16 on the US Billboard Hot 100 singles charts in, I think, 1982 or 1983. And amazingly, this is higher than any Rush track ever reached on that particular chart. So this is the Billboard Hot 100 single. So this is the main pop chart. It's not like there's like a separate rock chart. There's a separate alternative chart, country chart, but this is just their sort of main singles chart. So Take Off was number 16. No Rush song ever got that high. So the trivia question is, what is the song by Rush that was the highest ever charter on the US Billboard Hot 100 singles chart? Hint, it was a song from the 1980s. And so we'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed the 1980s.